Welcome back, patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience, your one-stop shop for your gaming news. Welcome to the Derrick Lamon Show on your free feeds. This is the Week in Gaming. On Patreon, of course, this is the Week in Gaming. We do this every single Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. It now comes in video form if you're a patron. Everywhere else, you get audio. There is the audio-only version available here on Patreon. That's for the lowest tier, which is the audio only tier, but the tier up has the video of this so you can see my splendid face. If you're on one of the free feeds and you want to see the video of this, well, then you need to subscribe. Again, that's patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience. Hopefully everybody had a pretty nice week. I'm recording a little early because it is going to be a very, very busy week. A lot of dad stuff. Also, the team has got some stuff we're working on as well. I am thinking about posting. I'm probably going to post clips of Pause Menu Society here so you guys can kind of get, if you're listening on Patreon, you guys can kind of get an idea of that. And maybe you want to check that out as well because we do some really cool shit over there. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing started. This is very, very interesting. Our top story here. This comes from our friends over at Insider Gaming. Apparently, Last of Us fans have started a Kickstarter in an effort to revive The Last of Us Online, which was canceled. The Last of Us Online, of course, was canceled way back in 2023, but that decision is long ranked with the post-apocalyptic gaming community. It would have been a third-person multiplayer shooter, and from some internal accounts, it would have been a stellar title. Unfortunately, it was never meant to be. Even today, fans are still yearning for The Last of Us Online, so much so that hundreds of fans have signed a petition dedicated to bringing the project to life. On April 30th, a fan of The Last of Us named Christopher McCabe opened a petition on change.org requesting that Naughty Dog bring back to life the canceled multiplayer game that was shut down in 2023. Within 12 hours, almost 400 verified signatures were secured, and a few page refreshes on the petition site showed the cadence of them coming in. In a post on social media, McCabe, publishing under the name Brokowski, said, "It's time to show PlayStation we will support this game. Please sign the petition so we can get some traction." Just 2 days ago, the former director of the now canceled shooter explained that the game would have been amazing and that developers regarded it as the best multiplayer game they've ever played. I want to say shout out to Naughty Dog and shout out to the guy that was directing this game. What pisses me off is that people gargle the hog um of Bungie, and I'm sorry, Destiny just never really lit my fire. I know a lot of people liked it, but I also know quite a few people who were not fans of Destiny. And from the understanding we have is that, you know, Sony acquired Destiny to come in and assess their online portfolio. Now, you have to remember, this is after Jim Ryan said, we need 12, count them, 12 live service games in development. They said that would be the future of PlayStation. Why? Because the world shut down and we were all at home and a lot of us started playing Fortnite. I know I did with my friends a lot. We played a lot of Fortnite. We tried out Overwatch as well, but we definitely played a lot of fucking Fortnite during the pandemic. Those numbers grew and grew and grew. People started streaming. A lot of people made some money off it. And then a lot of people realized, hey, you can make a lot of fucking money on video games. Unfortunately, that caused PlayStation to greenlight 12 live service games, which is a total fucking mistake. That is the epitome of overkill. 8 of those 12 games were canceled, including The Last of Us Online, the God of War live service game. Concord released and was shut down 2 weeks later, so it just didn't really work out. It was also revealed last month that The Last of Us Online was canceled 24 hours before the public was made aware of the decision, putting developers in a very shocking position. At the tail end of March, Neil Druckmann, the center of the series, suggested that there are still a few stops on the road ahead, remaining cryptic and making nothing clear. While the petition will likely amount to nothing, given that Naughty Dog is hard at work on Intergalactic and a secret game, it's nice to know that fans still care enough to try. I have not signed the petition because I understand that they're like, this is how we get to them. This is like the take it to the streets method. It's their IP. It's their intellectual property. If Sony doesn't want anybody working on it or doesn't want Naughty Dog working on it, it's just not going to happen. I really need people to understand that. Now, I'm not saying that they can't have hope, but in the long run, we know that Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, number one, that is the focus right now. And whatever that secret game is, that's the other focus. We wouldn't see this game. They would have to get another team to work on it. So much has changed at PlayStation since this game got greenlit. And I know everybody's like, well, really has it? Yeah, a lot has changed at PlayStation. Jim Ryan is out. And we found out from Shuhei Yoshida that Jim wanted him to do some very ridiculous things with PlayStation first party studios, and he was unwilling to do so. So Jim was like, you can either go home or you can run the Indies team. Shuhei chose the Indies, but eventually he left PlayStation. So here we are. I would have loved to have seen this game, but to me, here's my thing. I don't like all that many people, so I was only going to play with a certain subset of people anyway who were basically my friends and close and loved ones and stuff like that. So I don't know how much I'd have been online looking for matches and things like that. But I mean, it's nice to think that I think the game would have had traction. Don't get me wrong. Um, I think that sometimes there's a lot of servers where people just want to cheer somebody up and they're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever fucking seen. Not to say that it wasn't, because Naughty Dog generally does deliver really, really great quality, but we won't know. It's just one of those things. The one thing I will say, for all intents and purposes, everything that we have heard about the game was pretty fucking spectacular. So anyway, um, good luck with that petition. I don't know what they're looking to get out of it, but it is what it is. In other news, also from our friends over at Insider Gaming, gamers may get refunds after Sony PlayStation Digital Store lawsuit. So there's a class action suit. PlayStation players may be eligible for reimbursement following a preliminary settlement agreement approved by judge in a class action lawsuit regarding digital game purchases. The Northern District of California recently approved this preliminary settlement against Sony. The class action lawsuit filed in 2023 accuses Sony of monopolizing the market by restricting third party games on their platform. As part of the settlement, Sony is required to pay approximately $7.8 million to all in the United States who purchased specific digital games through the PlayStation Store between April 1st of 2019 and December 31st of 2023. The settlement was officially approved on April 8th. Saveri Law Firm officially announced the settlement through a press release on April 29th. The proposed settlement will provide the payment of $7,850,000 to resolve plaintiffs and settle and class members' claims against the defendant. Check your eligibility and learn. Insider Gaming has a complete guide to tell you everything you need to know about how to check your eligibility and claim money from your PlayStation refund lawsuit. I just need to see the list of games. That's all. So I'm gonna check. I'm gonna click this little link. Okay, so outline the full list of games that render you eligible for the refund and detailed how to take advantage of those games. In the lawsuit, let's see, what do we have? The Last of Us Remastered. I bought it before 2019, so that doesn't apply to me. Trial Fusion, Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, Destiny the Collection, Destiny 2 Forsaken, the Legendary Collection, Call of Duty Classic, Demon Souls, Persona 4 Golden, Shin Megami Tensei, Persona 3 Portable, Need for Speed Rivals, Battlefield Hardline Standard Edition, Star Wars Battlefront, Madden NFL 17, FIFA 17 Standard, NHL 17 Standard, NBA Live 18 to 1, NBA Live 19 to 1, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Mass Effect Trilogy, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, Final Fantasy 14 Online Starter Edition, Laura Craft and the Temple of Osiris, Sleeping Dogs Definitive, Nier Automata, Dragon Quest Builders, Resident Evil 4, Okami HD, Primal Carnage Extinction, Saban's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mega Battle, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All Star Battle, God Eater Resurrection, Beach Buggy Racing Special Delivery, WWE 2K17 Digital Deluxe, WWE 2K17, WWE 2K18 Digital Deluxe, WWE 2K18, NBA 2K18, NBA 2K18 Legend Edition, The Elder Scrolls Online, PS4, Saints Row 2 Digital, Justice League VR The Complete Experience, Skullgirls and Encore, No Man's Sky, Limbo, The Witness, Jackbox Party Pack 2, 3, and the Jackbox Party Trilogy, Super Mega Baseball, The Invisible Hours, Trying to Complete, To Get Into, The Solus Project, Human Fall Flat, God of War Collection, Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, Game of the Year, Ratchet and Clank Collection, Resogun, Knack, Flower PS4, Killzone Shadowfall, Infamous Second Son, Dead Nation Apocalypse, Edition, Until Dawn, The Last of Us Remastered, The Last of Us Left Behind, Infamous Last Light, Journey, The Unfinished Swan, The Order 1886, Bloodborne Complete Edition Bundle, Ratchet and Clank, God of War 3 Remastered, Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection, MLB The Show 16 MVP, MLB The Show 16, Bound, Here They Lie, Tumble VR, Twisted Metal, Jack and Daxter Collection, God of War Origins Collection, Infamous Festival of Blood, Motorstorm Apocalypse, Shadow of the Colossus, Uncharted Greatest Hits, Sports Champions 2, Sly Cooper, Thieves and Times, God of War Ascension, The Last of Us, Little Big Planet 3, Gravity Rush, Uncharted Golden Abyss, PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, Jack and Daxter Collection, Killzone Mercenary, God of War Collection, PS Vita, Ratchet and Clank Collection, and Freedom Wars. How much will you get? The results of the lawsuit settlement haven't been made clear on a person-to-person basis, so the individual refund amount isn't yet known. It's impossible to put a strict number against it just yet because it's not certain how many individuals will be taking their portion of that 7.8 million settlement. Our safe guess is that the court will award around $1 to $3 compensation per qualifying purchase to ensure widespread coverage as possible. You won't get a complete refund. This means if you bought 3 games during that window, you get anything from $3 to $9 in compensation. Further, the compensation will be made payable to your PSN wallet to keep things practical, will not be a cash refund. So there you go. I have a lot of games on that list. Unfortunately, I did not purchase them. I purchase games when they become available unless I miss something. So most of those I had before that date. I don't know. Um, $3 to $9. Do I really want to? Like, if you want to check it out, by all means, go ahead and check it out. But you're not getting a cash refund. Understand that money, that $3 to $9 is going to go to your PSN account. So it'll take care of a portion of your next game portion purchase. I don't know, but it is what it is. In other news, this is very interesting considering the situation that this particular franchise is in, but I've got to report on it because it is gaming news. This is a rumor. This would go on Leaks and Rumors. We haven't done Leaks and Rumors in a while because really we haven't had too many rumors or anything like that. This comes from our friends over at Game Rant. Shout out to Game Rant. A new leak claims that a sequel to Until Dawn has been in development since 2021 and will be released exclusively on PlayStation. The original Until Dawn came out in 2015 and proved to be a surprise success story on PS4. The horror game featured a narrative that changed based on the player's decisions, offering replay value for anyone who wanted to make sure that all main characters survived to see the best ending. A remake of Until Dawn was released on PS5 in 2024, with developer Ballistic Moon taking over for the original team at Supermassive Games. If I'm not mistaken, Ballistic Moon shut down just a short while back. The remake kept most of the original story and characters intact, but added some new sequences to flesh out the narrative. This led to speculation that a sequel is in development, but Ballistic Moon was closed by PlayStation in March of 2026. In the deleted thread on Reddit, a poster shared information about an apparent sequel to Until Dawn. The post claimed that the game will be exclusive to Sony's console. Following reports that PlayStation is moving away from PC games, the developer was not revealed, but the team allegedly includes multi-platform staffers from Supermassive Games. The rumor claims that Until Dawn 2 will also take advantage of the DualSense's various features, including blowing into the microphone to remove dust off an artifact. While that post was deleted, it was saved by Reddit user Lululemon_fan091, who did a little investing into the claims and may have deduced the development team. PlayStation purchased Firesprite in 2021, which is when the Until Dawn sequel apparently began development. Studio employs multiple former staffers from Supermassive Games and is currently working on a game that has the code name, quote, Heartbreak. Previous rumors have suggested that Heartbreak is a horror game from established PlayStation property, which would fit with Until Dawn. Until Dawn, fans should keep in mind that a lot of this is educated speculation and nothing is assured until PlayStation makes some sort of announcement. However, there is plenty of reason to believe that the publisher really is working on a new game in the series. PlayStation is clearly invested in the property based on the fact it released a remake in 2024 as well as a loose film adaptation in 2025. Neither of those did particularly well. Just want to make sure we're all aware of that. At a time when horror games like Resident Evil Requiem are seeing huge success, it makes sense for PlayStation to invest more in a series it wholly owns. Even if the Until Dawn rumors don't pan out, fans can find some similar experiences from Supermassive Games. The studio is no longer involved with the PlayStation-owned property. It continues to release interactive horror games that feature a similar framework. The core is meant to be a spiritual successor to Until Dawn and largely received positive reviews upon release. Studio's next game is Directive 8020, set to be released on May 12th, while Until Dawn and The Quarry both pay tribute to slasher films. Directive 8020 seems to be inspired by horror movies with science fiction elements such as Alien and Event Horizon. Comment on this says if Until Dawn 2 is really in development, I'll be interested to see how it turns out without Supermassive at the helm. Reception to the remake was largely mixed, and Supermassive's follow-up games have refined the Until Dead formula without repeating what was done before. Hopefully the new team can build on what made the original an enjoyable experience without retreading what came before. Um, I would like to see it. I'm not gonna hold my breath though. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Um, Sony needs to get back into focusing on what their bread and butter is. I know they want a game that they can release DLC. Well, not even DLC, yeah, but also they want something that has a roadmap and a battle pass where they can keep getting money from people. And that was the point behind the 12 live service games. But that's not where PlayStation built their bread and butter. That's not what they do. They do single player, interactive, third person, over the shoulder, almost like a film type games. God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, um, Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yote. These games have sold in mass. And PlayStation, they're known as the gods of these type of games. That's why we're eagerly anticipating Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. And they're saying there's more on that here in just a second. But when you look at all these games, we know what PlayStation does well. They did not need to chase that. I understand why they did it. I totally understand why, because everybody else is making a ton off of that. Think about how much money, like I think about how much money I spent on, Fortnite battle passes when I was actively playing Fortnite. And also I had to buy it twice because my daughter was also playing. My nephews were playing. Like we were all playing a lot of Fortnite. So I see Sony's looking like, what are they doing over there? They're making a lot of fucking money over there. All money ain't good money, boys. It just isn't. I'm sorry, boys and girls. All money is not good money. And they chased a fad. Well, now, if you talk to the people at Epic Games, which we had this in a story a couple weeks back, they're losing money. People are not playing Fortnite the way that they used to. So, in hindsight, it's like you chased something that was eventually going to fizzle out, much like everything does. A lot of things are a flash in the pan. A lot of things are hot for one moment and then not the next. Um, Open world gaming, I feel like we're coming to a point where people are like, everything doesn't need to be an open world game. It just doesn't. Everybody can't execute it as well as, Rocksteady with the Arkham series and stuff like that. It doesn't work for everybody. So, um, hopefully this is true. I like Until Dawn. I'm not super crazy over it. I didn't see the film. I know a lot of people who really, really dig it, but they hated the remake and they weren't really fans of the film. But I mean, we shall see. In other news, of course, there are few details on Intergalactic, just a little bit from Mr. Kell's Game over on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, he says this is the most ambitious and most expansive Naughty Dog game yet. The score is done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, which we knew about once the trailer dropped. This will be the deepest gameplay in Naughty Dog's history, and this game is shaping up to be our wildest adventure, most creative story yet. It's inspired by Elden Ring, Cowboy Bebop, Akira, and Back to the Future. This is like right up my alley. This is a day one. Um, I don't. The comments are crazy. This is probably going to be another Zionist propaganda narrative from Neil Cuckman. Um, can't believe they're wasting Trent fucking Reznor on this inevitable woke garbage slop. Says Salty Gorilla One on Twitter. Fucking moron. Kojima could have probably made a better Intergalactic. Non-binary thanks. Non-binary thanks. Jesus Christ. Still woke slop. I'm good. Don't need to play as yet another lesbian female character. Woke trash. This will not do as well as people think it will. It'll end Druckmann and Naughty Dog. Thank God. Neil's not going anywhere unless he wants to. The people that keep saying this are just absolute idiots. They said the same stuff about The Last of Us Part 2, and it's one of the most awarded games of all time. You guys just sound fucking stupid. I'm telling you that right now. So it's probably in your best interest to just shut the fuck up and let Naughty Dog, let Neil and his team over at Naughty Dog do what they do best. Simple. And even before Neil, we had Amy Henning. We've had, I mean, Bruce Straley was there with Neil. They don't miss a beat. Uncharted 4, we found out was in development hell, and Neil and Bruce came in and cleaned it up, and we got the masterpiece that we all love today, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. So let them cook. AI slop and woke Zionists and propaganda. Oh, I don't like Neil Druckmann. Oh, he made me play as Ellie. Oh, then he made me play as Abby. Oh, he killed Joel. Oh my God, love is trans. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. It's a fucking video game. It's a fucking video game. It's meant to be enjoyed. If you're not enjoying it, just don't play it. But also at the same time, you don't have to go online and let the world know that you don't want to play it just because Neil Druckmann is behind the game. I just find that stupid. It's like you want to be a part of a conversation that bad, but whatever. Who the fuck am I, right? Our next story is very, very interesting. Shout out to Tony Hawk. There's a reason people love Tony Hawk. So there's this meme, and it was a picture of Wesley Snipes. If you've seen the film New Jack City, and it's right before he shoots G Money on the roof, and this guy was like, me before I have to kill Tony Hawk before the race wars, and obviously Wesley is crying in the moment, and Tony Hawk is like, oh, that sucks, but thank you for at least thinking about it for a second. People love Tony Hawk. My little cousins, a lot of people I know played Tony Hawk Pro Skater when they were coming up, and that's why it was such a big deal when it got remade. This is interesting though. So Tony Hawk reveals during reels turning down $500,000 from Activision was the best financial decision of his life. Shout out to Tony. Quote, when they were close to launching the game, they started to sense there was buzz about it. It was already getting good reviews from previews, and they felt the surge of interest. They offered me a buyout of future royalties right before the game launched. They offered me $500,000. They said, you get that right now and then no money going forward. Quote, no one had ever spoken to those types of numbers to me before, but I felt like I was in a pretty good place. I was doing well in other ways. I was still skating a lot, doing events. I had good endorsements, and I thought, I'm going to take a risk. I don't need that money right now. So Tony Hawk received a $4 million royalty check from Activision after the release of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 in 2002, which he described as one of his annual royalty payments. He has stated that this was just one payout with the estimate of around $6 million per year. My boy was getting paid. And royalties during the peak of the years of the franchise. Overall, by retaining the royalties instead of the $500,000 buyout, he earned tens of millions, at least 8 times the original offer across the series, which generated over $1 billion in total sales. Exact lifetime totals aren't publicly confirmed, but the decision transformed his finances. So you have to bet on yourself sometimes. The comments, this is why you save your money, kids, so you can make good decisions from a position of financial strength. If he really needed the money, he would have taken it. $500,000 is a lot of money to turn down for any person. Even unless you're a billionaire, and even them, they'd be like, no. Like there's been the question for some years now, $1 million, or I think it's $500, or dinner with Jay-Z. Jay-Z is on record as saying, take the money. He's like, I'm not that interesting. Take the money. I would venture you would probably learn a lot from Hove. Plus, he's probably got the best stories in the world. But yeah, I'd take the fucking money. I don't have $500,000. So yes, I'm going to take the fucking money. Tony Hawk had the foresight to not take the money. But he also was hearing wind of these reviews, and he's like, this thing is going to be fucking stellar, so let me make my money on the back end, which is what he did, and I have no problem with that. So, again, shout out to Tony Hawk. Everybody loves you. You are that fucking dude. In other news, a new Rockstar Games review on Glassdoor from an employee working on GTA 6 says, quote, they're expected to complete tasks that usually take 5 to 6 months in 2 to 3 months. What does that tell you? Work schedule has been hectic since last month, and they're working overtime. The last few weeks have been a toll on their mental health. Some colleagues had to work till 3 a.m. in the morning after completing their shifts. Seems like Rockstar is pushing hard right now to get the game out in November. Well, excuse me. Exciting project, but unrealistic workload. This was found online about Rockstar and the situation. Free food is nice. There's growth, but limited. You get to work on the most anticipated entertainment project in the world. These are the pros. The cons, you're expected to work overtime without pay. The work schedule has been hectic since last month. Some colleagues had to work till 3 a.m. in the morning after completing their shifts in the morning. They're expecting us to complete tasks that usually take 5 to 6 months in 2 to 3 months. If you complain to HOD, it's useless. Someone said, I enjoyed working here in the previous year, but the last few weeks have been a toll on my mental health. Please be lenient on us. We are humans too. Crunch is happening at Rockstar Studios right now to get Grand Theft Auto out this fall. That's exactly what's happening. There was crunch during Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us 2. There was crunch during Red Dead Redemption 2. This is something that's extremely common, and I hate that I can say it like that because I usually never be able to say that. But yeah, this is common in the business. This is very common in the business. So a lot of people are just like, is this game still going to come out? I don't know if we're going to see this game. What does it look like over there? I couldn't tell you, but they are getting closer. They are getting closer. Now, Jason Schreier has also published a new article about Grand Theft Auto 6. Strauss Zelnick says the expectations are so high and terrifying. Creative teams are given unlimited financial resources to deliver perfection. They got to get that money back in blood. I'm telling you that right now. And if this sells even a fraction of what the last Grand Theft Auto release did, they're going to be disappointed. But a bad day for Rockstar Games on sales of a title is an amazing day for any other studio, other than probably Naughty Dog because they're killing it. But Bethesda ain't bringing in that type of bread. There just isn't anybody in Naughty. I'm sorry, Naughty Dog is probably the closest, and maybe CD Projekt. Who knows? Sony does have a marketing deal with Rockstar. I believe I said this months ago. I don't know why y'all didn't listen to me, but here it is. Sony has a marketing deal with Rockstar, but it's not the reason why the game won't launch on PC day one. Rockstar has historically gone to console first to serve the core consumer, says Strauss Zelnick. A console release first and a PC release later could be a chance to drive more sales and even get some customers to buy the game twice. Development costs have gone significantly up, and AI's influence is notwithstanding, as they haven't seen cost decline yet. Selling 10 million units, a miraculous figure for the most competitors, will be considered disastrous for this game, as some analysts have it forecasted it will exceed 25 million copies sold at launch, so the stakes are very high. When GTA 5 came out, you could not do full on digital downloads of your game. Like there was some stuff like on the Xbox store, like Xbox Arcade and stuff like that, but we're talking full on AAA titles that took place in the following year in the Xbox One PS4 era. Before that, we were all going to GameStop at midnight or Walmart or whatever have you at midnight to cop our new game and go home and play it. Now, those are some of the coolest moments of my life because I've met some of the coolest guys and girls standing in line outside of GameStop or Walmart or something like that to buy the new Madden or the new Call of Duty or the new Grand Theft Auto. That's just the way it is. Um, but this game, I don't know if it's going to do what the first one, not the first one, Grand Theft Auto 5 did, the last one. I don't know if it's going to do those numbers because that was completely unexpected. But the fact that we have to wait, that came out in 2013 and it's 2026, the fact that we have to wait 13 years, that could push the sales up. Just saying. Just saying. I expect it to sell well. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's going to be Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 generation, then on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One generation. We shall see, though. In other news, water's wet. PlayStation 6 early info on cloud streaming, machine learning, and new horror game have been uncovered. Whether you want to believe it or not, the next generation of consoles is right around the corner. Just this past month, Xbox announced that it was working on Project Helix, its next-gen Xbox console. Although Sony has been quiet about what's after the PlayStation 5, we do know they're deep in development on its next-generation console, with recent rumors claiming they're going with a hybrid handheld approach, similar to the Nintendo Switch. Whatever it is, most rumors seem to agree that 2027 will be the year that we get to experience both consoles. I'm going to pause here. That's a mistake. You don't go play Follow the Leader. How did we end up with the PlayStation Move? They saw what Nintendo was doing with the Wii. How did we end up with the Xbox Connect? Again, they saw what Nintendo was doing with the Wii, and they both played Follow the Leader. And neither one of them did it as well as Nintendo did. Now, The Blu-ray player and the PlayStation 3 definitely helped out. Um, Maybe if Microsoft had done that, like that generation. Here's the thing: Microsoft had that generation one, and they slowed down at the end. But um, I don't know if Sony needs to be doing a hybrid handheld, like with a dock and all this stuff. I don't think we need this and an additional actual set top box console. This is weird, and this is going to cost a lot of money, especially with everything being up in the United States of America right now. Many questions swirling around and no answers in sight. One does have to wonder what they will bring to the table. We've been digging around and have discovered a few things related to PlayStation's next generation console. So some of these are obvious, but anyway, being around what seems to be cross-gen development. At the moment, it looks like Sony has people working on developing assets both 2D and 3D for the current PS5 and next-gen PS6. These assets have been described as AAA quality. Not much else to add here, but it may suggest we'll get cross-gen titles from Sony going into next gen, similar to how we saw with the PS5 games released on PS4. Again, water's wet. We knew this was going to be a thing. We knew this was going to be a thing. They all exist on the x86 architecture, and that's why it's been like that for the past few years. You didn't get a lot of that on the PlayStation 4 from the PlayStation 3 because the PlayStation 3 was built on I think they called it the Cell or whatever. It's like proprietary engine and all this stuff, but who the hell knows? Another obvious one is Sony is looking to further build out its social apps on the platforms, which it describes as next gen social apps, like the terminology used every time they move gen or something. So, excuse me, so nothing out of the ordinary here. Video streaming and multitasking, much like they are on the PS4 and PS5, also being built on upon the next gen PlayStation console. And to our understanding, is the same team of people leading it. Again, pretty obvious stuff. So let's take a look at some juicier things we discovered. One of the things we learned is that Sony is partnering with another studio to develop a next generation game featuring immersive third person horror shooter mechanics. Still on Unreal Engine 5, we don't know the specific partner or title, though I'd like to point out that the wording doesn't necessarily imply it's a flat out shooter. Set in some kind of horror setting, rather, it features shooting mechanics. Take that as you will, obviously with a grain of salt. Coincidentally, Firespite is rumored to be working on a survivor horror game internally called Project Heartbreak. We mentioned this, and the possibility this could be a sequel till Until Dawn Part 2. Um, Apparently, so there's like specs and stuff like that, and apparently someone's come out to debunk all of that. So this just might be a bunch of bullshit. And again, it probably should have been in grain of salt, but it's the way I kind of put the show together. Blame me. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. Again, water's wet. We knew the PlayStation 6 was going to be backward compatible with the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4 because they all use x86 architecture. And that was the point to switching to this because you get to keep these generations open and you can still sell games and stuff like that. So shout out to PlayStation. We shall see how the PlayStation 6 looks. We're going to get Project Helix more than likely before that, in my opinion, but we'll see. And this also, I'm sorry, should have been in grain and salt. Apparently, this has been debunked, but I don't know. So there's some rumors about Final Fantasy VII Part 3 regarding the title announcement and launch are claimed to have leaked. Now, some people are saying this is going to show up at Summer Games Fest. If you listen to the show, you know I've been advocating for the fact that, hey, well, the first one came out in 2020, and then the next one came out in 2024. It's 2026. When are we going to get the third and final portion of this trilogy? So this is from Rhino the Bouncer. Again, take this all with a grain of salt because none of this has been confirmed, and Rockstar is not going to say a goddamn thing and fuck up their bag. I'm telling y'all that right now. So the title is rumored to be Final Fantasy VII Return. The game is to be revealed at Summer Game Fest 2026 with an early 2027 launch window. Additional permanent playable party members, one of whom is brand new. You got Vincent and Yuffie and Sid at the end of the last, so I don't know who else you would put in there. You got Kate Shit. You've got all the original members of the party, so I just don't know why you would do that. Anyway, new optional combat system named Active Turn Action. Over 3 times more narrative cinematics is featured in Rebirth in terms of duration. Over 2 times the world size is featured in Rebirth, including returning to Midgar. Details of the new optional active turn action combat system, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Did I get disconnected? No, still connected. Final Fantasy VII Remake triple pack sale Remake, Rebirth, and Crisis Core Reunion, all bundled in one collection for a holiday launch. I'd probably buy it, just saying, even though I have them all. Source: pimple popping punk on Reset Era who claimed to be posting on behalf of someone else who wishes to remain private. Um, Someone said 3 additional permanent characters, well, Sid and Vincent are given. Zach has already been introduced. Sephiroth has been introduced. My guess is to the brand new main edition would be one of these: Cisne, Rufus, Genesis, and Glenn. It feels like Zach will meet up with them and join the party or something because it's a different timeline, and Zach actually survived in this one. So we shall see. I don't know. And then finally, for the coup de grace, for the final story here in the show, tried to keep it as short as possible because the edit's a little longer and stuff like this. But I didn't intentionally do this. This is all that we have at this time. Again, I have a lot going on this week, so I had to record a little earlier than normal. There could be other stories that come out after this, and they will be taken care of in next week's episode. Apparently, there's been some changes to leadership at Xbox. Asha Sharma is currently doing her thing. I know a lot of people didn't think she would, but it looks good. So, Xbox CEO Asha Sharma overhauls the Xbox leadership with new executive teams makeup. Jared Palmer, former Core AI Vice President of Product, joins as VP of Engineering. Tim Allen, former Core AI VP of Design, joins to lead design. Jonathan McKay, former Core AI Head of Growth, joins to lead Xbox Growth, Data, Platform, and Analytics. And Evan Shockey, former Core AI General Manager, joins to simplify dev and improve how Xbox operates, improving how Xbox operates. Someone said Xbox leadership looking more and more like a third-party publishing org with a console logo attached. Someone said not Phil and Sarah getting replaced by the AI Avengers, although Asher said she doesn't want any AI slop. So this looks crazy. I'm not going to hold you. Someone said, so AI leads are leading Xbox. How much of their future is going to be AI? Well, this is interesting because today the conversation was had. And where was that? This is from Asha directly. Quote, Xbox needs to move faster, deepen our connection with the community, and address friction for both players and developers. Today, we promoted leaders who help build Xbox while also bringing in new voices to help us push forward. The balance is important as we get the business back on track. As part of the shift, you'll see us begin to retire features that don't align with where we're headed. We will begin winding down Copilot on mobile and stop development of Copilot on console. Copilot, of course, is Microsoft's AI initiative. Like Google has Gemini and Apple has Siri. Well, this Copilot is Microsoft's. This is going to be very interesting because it was supposed to be integrated into the next Xbox. Also, with Steam still planning on getting the Steam machine out there, it's going to be very interesting if they allow their open store on the Xbox platform. It's going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. So I'm expecting to see Project Helix get a full reveal, not this summer, but sometime. Who the hell knows? The Game Awards is coming up. Obviously, they pulled that move the last time. I love this story because it's so fucking cool. When they went through rehearsals earlier in the day, the spot where Phil revealed the Xbox Series X, they just showed a Game Pass ad during the rehearsal. And then we get to the big show and Phil's like, fuck it, all guns out. Um, I don't know how you guys feel. I don't know. We shall see. I'm giving Asha Sharma the benefit of the doubt to see if she can really turn this thing over for Team Xbox. It doesn't bother me in particular because I have I have multiple Xbox, PlayStation, Switch 2, and a gaming PC. So it doesn't affect me directly, but competition breeds, you know, creativity. And if Xbox is wiped off the map and it's just Sony and Nintendo, what are we really getting at that point? That's my question. So I want to see Asha do well. I want to see her restore Xbox to its prominence and, really push PlayStation, really push them to be the best that they can be. That's my dream for this. So I don't know. Anyways, that's going to do it for yours truly. I'm going to end this like I end everything else. Believe in yourself first and foremost, because if you don't believe in yourself, of course, nobody else will believe in you. As always, my name is Derrick Lamon Jackson, and that is my time. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.